This is 3rd and 6. Malone throws the cross. It is intercepted on the deflection. Brian Branch, the rookie, ties the game with his first NFL touchdown. Way 9 of the drive. Montgomery with some momentum to the end zone for the touchdown. David Montgomery behind the strength of the Lions. The offensive line, an extra point away from the lead for Detroit.
This is Rafique and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk. Yeah, what a way to kick off week 1 of the NFL season as I welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafique alongside Ryan Walker. And how about the Detroit Lions tipping off the NFL season with a victory over the Kansas City Chiefs? Thoughts?
You know how I feel about them Detroit Lions. That's a team that's up and coming, man. I told you, Dan Campbell and the job he's done down here, and now this entering their second season, he got the troops and that team believing. And we talked about how I believe last year they started off 1-6 and reeled off all those games, and bringing it into this season. And we got NFL football games coming on now tomorrow, so that's it's a good start for the Lions, especially since I just think they can win the division. One year doesn't necessarily clarify to the next, but they played very well at the end of last season. Brought a lot of that same core in and added spots where they were lacking, especially defensively. And Jared Goff is playing good football. When he's playing like that, we know this is a guy that can bring a team to a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? When he's the other Jared Goff, he can be turnover prone. But right now he's playing, and from the last year on, he's playing good football, comfortable in the system with the coordinators. And like I said, the Packers lost Rodgers. He went to the Jets. I think Jordan Love is going to be a good kid, but they're still in a transition. Practically a rebuild. The Bears have a really good, phenomenal quarterback and some good pieces, here and there, but they're not a complete team. So, but I mean, we'll see how that young quarterback, how far he can take them. Just Mr. Fields down there, and in Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is loaded with talent, and I guess on paper and everybody should say, hey, Vikings should win that division. I don't think so. I think the Lions have more substance, and I think over time they will eventually show that. And like I said, I believe they beat the Vikings one time last year. I could be wrong, but I just see them winning that division, and it's not an aberration. Remember, we talked about it too. Kelsey was out. Their defensive tackle on the Kansas City, who's a Pro Bowl star player, was out. Those do hurt, but the Kansas City Chiefs still had Patrick Mahomes, and they had the opportunity to win. He threw a pick six, which was huge, and that pretty much sums it up. And the Lions made a good start to the season.
Yes, that's seriously an interesting point. And spoiler alert, this is pretty much a do-over for the show that was recorded like a couple of days ago, but didn't get published because of sound issues. So don't be disappointed if I end up asking the same question that I asked you when we recorded the other day. Just to give you a heads up.
Absolutely.
Because that's how you put together a perfect media product to get published out into the world.
Yeah, and we're still in week 1. We're still in it. There's a lot of other stuff going on too. Like there's U.S. Open tennis going on, and we're still on the format what we did before. But it's U.S. Open tennis on. Today's a crazy college football day, so it's like sports rampant.
Yeah, we'll get more into what happened in college football and why we should pay more attention to it for the rest of the season. I mean, college football is always worth watching, especially when the bowl games come around. But we'll get more into why we should be more locked in on that. What I wanted to get into is there was this whole how the Lions were able to pull off this victory over the Kansas City Chiefs in the first place. I mean, you had Jared Goff having the one touchdown, and of course you had David Montgomery getting that rushing touchdown, which was pretty much the go-ahead touchdown for the Detroit Lions. And then the play that showed you where Boone's managed to get the interception that after the ball was deflected off one of the receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs. So we already talked about that. That was one of the most craziest plays you ever seen. And I even got a chance to show you earlier in the week, and it showed that you're not going to see because of sound issues. So yeah, that's pretty much sums up the Detroit Lions Kansas City Chiefs conversation. It's one of it, but again, they're going to be a team to watch. I still think the Minnesota Vikings can still win the NFC North, but Detroit, they're coming.
Yep, they're the football team. They're the football team, and they're surging and they're gelling together. Everything the coach, they all working together. Like I said, Minnesota should win, but I just think that the Lions are going to win. Listen, the Lions are going to win enough games. They're a quality football team, and it's all going to come up to the head-to-head matchups, and they play each other twice in the division. If the Lions can get a sweep, they're winning. They're winning the division, man. They're going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. And just the Vikings, in general, just had too many opportunities, and then here was the big thing. Kirk Cousins, big time. He plays, not a scrub. But on Monday Night Football, what is he like, 1-13, and in big playoff games, forget about it. So, that's the biggest resolve right there. I know Jared Goff could when put in the right system, he plays at a high level.
Exactly. And this Lions team will definitely be worth watching on Thanksgiving Day, let alone the playoffs. And continuing the NFL conversation. Well, I know we already went over this, but I've had Off the Lens Productions on their talent, Trina Barbie, come on the show earlier this week to make a win-loss predictions for the Las Vegas Raiders. And her predictions came up to about 13 wins and 4 losses. I already told you the teams are going to win and the teams are going to lose to. Thoughts?
Yeah, I told you she's absolutely crazy. She's absolutely, no way, no how, nope. I tell you, like, it just makes mathematical sense. When you win 13 games and you have 17, remember 17 games just started like 2 years ago, right? That means you're one of the upper echelon teams. And no disrespect to the Raiders, I think they have a quality football team. I just don't think they're a 13-win football team. But, guess what? Listen, Kansas City lost the first game. But, Kansas City does stuff like that, so I'm not worried. They're going to pull off like 4 or 5, 6. You know what I'm saying? They'll get into a winning streak. Mahomes is there. They'll have enough talent. They'll fix a few things. They'll win. Kelsey will come back. But nevertheless, the Raiders are not a 13-win football team. They're just not. The 13-4, I'm going to sit back and watch it. Now, every week I'm going to be so tuned in to see the Raiders games because 13-4, 10-7, 11-6, 12 wins tops I can even see. 13, no. And even with 12, 13, I think I'm stretching. I think they're max an 11-win team. And they can be a team that it's just proven. And a lot of their core is there, but they did lose too. Listen, their biggest tight end and playmakers are the New York Giants now. You know what I mean? And then it's now or never for Carr. You've got you're getting paid, you got a big contract. Now you got to take the Raiders to the next level. So I just don't see 13-4. I see them at like 11-7, 11-6, right? No, 11-6 or 10-7. But 13-3, wow. And that just shows you the how people look at things. The Giants didn't have that much talent last year and just played gritty, were well coached and did the right things and got great plays from Saquon Barkley and big time plays from Daniel Jones. Really young little defense. And we went 9-6-1?
9-7-1, actually.
9-7-1 and qualified for the postseason and beat the Minnesota Vikings, who you think will win the NFC North, right? They beat a playoff team and went and got obliterated by the Eagles, and the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. So we know, and the Eagles pretty much beat up on everybody except for when they went to the Super Bowl. So to hear somebody say the Giants this year win 6 or 7 games, or I heard one time 3 or 4, and we went to the playoffs last year with not the same. We added a lot of talent, but somebody's going to tell me the Raiders are going to go 13-4. They didn't even win. Did they win 10 games last year?
Nope, they did not. Nope, I don't believe so. I believe they only won like 4 or 5 games, but they did make expansion good wins against. But they did get some good wins against the Seattle Seahawks, and they capitalized on that bad lateral play that Myers had when he tried to throw it into Matt Jones, but then Chandler Jones picked it off. And what's happening earlier this week? They face the Patriots in week 6 at home. And I think that they can still beat the Patriots. It's just not going to happen on that dumb lateral play. That I know for sure.
Correct. Well, even so, with 13 wins is just a lot, and 11 max for Raiders per se. Well, hey, let's see. NFL is really unpredictable sometimes. A lot of parity.
Mm-hmm. Now, you already made your picks for the Giants. You already made your NFL Week 1 picks, and I'm gonna say it right off the record. And those you got some pretty good predictions just down the road. I mean, you got the Denver Broncos defeating the Las Vegas Raiders, the Atlanta Falcons beating Carolina, the Cincinnati Bengals going on the road to take down the Cleveland Browns. You had Jacksonville taking down the Indianapolis Colts. We don't know what type of offense. We don't know what they don't really have nobody at that point. So that's understandable. You had the Minnesota Vikings winning at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No Tom Brady. That shouldn't be a problem. You had the New Orleans Saints winning against the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, you don't want Tennessee in the playoffs, but it's only the first week, so obviously that could change. You had the Steelers winning. You had the Washington Commanders winning their game. I mean, Steelers beating the 49ers. We had the Washington Commanders beating the Arizona Cardinals. You had the Ravens defending the home field against the Houston Texans. They're not that good. You had the Green Bay Packers going on the road to Soldier Field to take down the Chicago Bears. You had the Denver Broncos. Well, we already addressed the Denver Broncos Raiders prediction. You had the Philadelphia Eagles winning on the road against the New England Patriots. The Miami Dolphins beating the Chargers. The Seattle Seahawks winning against the Los Angeles Rams. And the Buffalo Bills defeating the New York Jets, assuming Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a good game. So, how good are you feeling about your win-loss your predictions for Week 1 going into the NFL season?
Oh, I feel good. And those are some tough games, like that Miami Dolphins Chargers game. That's a tough game to think. No matter what I thought about that one, that's a tough game. There was some really tough picks in there. The Niners, Pittsburgh is a tough game to pick. The Niners have a really good team. They're really probably the better team. But Pittsburgh, coming off what they had last year, and with their quarterback and that big time receiver, with Pickett and Pickens, but that was a tough game to pick. But I just like what the Pittsburgh might be able to do and surprise them in this game. And, football's so crazy. The Jets could beat Buffalo, but I picked Buffalo. I think Buffalo will start off the season right, and things will have a big game. And see, the Jets are still learning and feeling themselves out, even with all the talent. So if it all clicks that night, they can win. But I think I think the Buffalo Bills kind of know who they more are as a football team right now than what the New York Jets are. But the Jets might be better down the road compared to right now. But those are some tough picks. Giants Cowboys is a tough pick. We haven't beat the Cowboys like in 5 years.
Yeah, the one time we did beat the Cowboys, Dak Prescott didn't even play, and it was in the final week of 2000.
Yeah, right. What year was that?
The last game of the 2020 season. That one time he did beat Dak Prescott was out with an injury.
Right. Jesus. 2020 was the last time they beat them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like 6 straight. They got like 6 straight on us. We gotta find a way. It's really gonna be tough, but really the Giants. I got the Giants at 10-7 and still going to the playoffs. I got 3 NFC East teams going to the playoffs: the Cowboys, of course, the Giants, and the Eagles. The Eagles, I told you, I think is the superior team. They'll win about 13 games. The Cowboys will win about 11. I think we can get about 10. But what the Giants got to figure out eventually to do is to split with them. They cannot keep trying to beat up on Washington, get sweeps or a win and a tie, and then get swept by the Eagles and the Cowboys. You have to split somehow, some way. And unfortunately, in Week 1, this is their test. You're home or not, you're home. You got to win this football game against the Cowboys, who are a very good team. But you got to get this division win and get this win early. So now you go off into a little bit of a pace, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It all comes down to how Daniel Jones is going to operate. If he can minimize the interceptions and Saquon Barkley can improve the rushing offense of the New York Giants and special teams can come through, they should get this victory over the Dallas Cowboys. That I know for sure.
But you see, that's a bit rough. Last year, Daniel was great at not throwing interceptions. He had a big year, got his money, right?
And he
Saquon had a big year last year, too. Yeah, Saquon had a big year last year, too. They're both back. You added so much talent. You got Jalen Hyatt, the receiver, the young kid from Texas, who's amazing. You picked up Waller, the tight end, big time playmaker from the Raiders. You still have Sterling Shepard, who's going to come back off his injury. You got the young kid, Wandale Robinson, who was drafted last year and didn't play the whole year because I think he tore his leg up or something like that. He's back. Speed demon, this kid. Wait till you see him on field. Speed demon. On top of that, remember, they still have Darius Slayton. Now to take the pressure off Slayton. Slayton got other guys around him that, Slayton's a good talent too. Slayton's had an interesting career with the Giants. So he had a really good rookie year. And he kind of had a sophomore slump, played a little bad. Then his third year, he kind of got banged up and played again. And then he played very well last year, but he had some big drops last year too. Jesus, they saved him sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. But Slayton now, with those other receivers, with a Hyatt, with a Wandale Robinson, with a Waller, a tight end, a Shepard sometimes in the package, or Slayton himself, or Saquon, the field opens up, and there's so much more. You know what I mean? And they still got their tight end from last year that can block and pass. So there's plenty of targets and guys for him to throw the ball to. Guys just got to get open. They got to block for him. And if they do that, they'll be all right. You know what I mean? They'll be all right. Yeah. And Daniel, just like you said, limit the turnovers.
That's what you can do. Now, we're done with talking about NFL football. Let's start to get into some college football because there's one intriguing storyline that's happening within college football, and that's primetime Deion Sanders. You're familiar with them? You know Deion Sanders, right?
Yeah, he's the greatest California to ever play football.
You know him, right? Coach Jackson State, coach at an HBCU school, all the way to a bull win. Yeah, that primetime Deion Sanders. Right now, he's coaching Colorado Buffaloes. They managed to get a win. They managed to win their first game of the season last week, and now they're 2-0.
Man, we gotta talk about it. And Deion got a great thing going, man. He's, and there's a lot of teams that have, and he's down there doing a great thing. He's recruited. He's got the guys believing. And first a big win against TCU, 45-42, and he's not too long ago. I mean, that is just, he's got a good thing going. And college football's kind of open this year. There's no like super supreme powerhouses, especially in the first couple of weeks, 2 weeks, excuse me. So anybody can get into the top 10 now. Not anybody, but it's more manageable. Before, you back, even in, the years, you always have the Alabamas and the Clemsons and the Georgias and always usually top
that one year with
State.
LSU won all in 2019. You can't forget that.
Yeah, LSU, the Notre Dames, those the Michigans, those teams are usually always in that top 10, right? Listen, anybody, Colorado can get in. They keep winning. So it's good. It's better this way. It's more fun when it's more open, and guys everybody can have an opportunity and shot, depending on your strength of schedule, how many wins you get, what conferences, all that stuff in. But it just open. It makes it better for college football. It makes you, and now it makes the other outside bowl games to me more important because now everybody knows that. Like, we're just as good as that team, but we're in a conference where we did it out, but we're here at this game, and this is our bowl game, so it's important. Like, bowl games always matter, but now it's going to matter more because, you could be a school like some of those top powerhouses we name. Let's suppose like you're the schools that are like 10 and 30, like do rankings all the time. Like you'd have to have the super strength of schedule. Everything would have to go right for you to break into that top 10 to be even invited to one of the big national games, or now what is the playoff system that they do? Excuse me. Now with the way the playoff system is set up and how everybody is just so open, who the heck picked Colorado to be 2-0 in the first 2 weeks? You know, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. And actually, this is literally the last of the best of Pac-12. They got to enjoy this season while it lasts, because you got a lot of Pac-12 teams getting out of the Pac-12 to go to either the Big 10 or the Big 12.
That basketball too, right?
Well, for what I'm reading, for sure, it's just for football. I mean, yeah, currently has 12 members. You got Washington, Oregon, South Carolina, Southern California, and UCLA going to the Big 10. Stanford and California going to the ACC. Arizona State, which is Aya's alma mater, by the way. Shout out to her. Good luck on finishing your 3rd year. Colorado, Deion Sanders, primetime, and Utah Utes are leaving for the Big 12. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's going to affect the basketball conference as well. So get ready for the Pac-12 to die. Thoughts?
Man, I do really see that thing with that is going to be so cool. We're used to so many teams for college football, at least, to be in certain conferences. Like I said, that's why hopefully that just stays for football, because that'll shake up basketball so differently too. But whoa, that gives everybody opportunities, especially when you split up the conferences like that, and including, look what Deion is doing, and it's just big programs every year. He's been able to get there and recruit and bring in his guys and bring in good players and give opportunities and teach the game of football, and it's paying out. So there's many coaches like them all over. I mean, we just don't give them a potential prime time because it's Deion Sanders. But the college, hey, we've seen it in college basketball. Not to throw off topic. College basketball is so open now. Duke's not winning every year.
Exactly.
North Carolina's not winning every year. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I don't mean to cut you off. Remember when the Big East separated, became like the 8, like the ACC or AAC or whatever that conference is? Remember when you had a lot of Connecticut leave the Big East before the AAC, before they eventually went back to the Big East?
Absolutely.
Maryland left the ACC for the Big 10, never came back. So I had to bring this up to you because, well, we're on the subject covering college football, and we at prime time, Deion Sanders making the Pac-12 as interesting to watch as it is right now. Now, considering this is the final stage, because after 2024, it's like the Pac-12 is going to die.
It's sad. I hope not, man. That's
bad enough. You don't have a Big East conference anymore. Now you don't. Now you got to cut Pac-12.
Hopefully they can have one of them like really good couple D1 AA schools. Like maybe start getting, maybe they make a rise and add teams. That would be crazy. No Pac-12 in football, but we've seen it happen. You just talked about that. We've seen conferences get disintegrated. We've seen tournaments get disintegrated. It's just a passage of time. I'm pretty sure in 100 years, the Big East tournament will probably be some. It's probably always going to be the Big East tournament. I think that's a bad metaphor to say that. But the conferences probably have all different types of names, and so the arcade, that's our Pac-12. Good luck.
Yep, good luck indeed. And now that we're done talking about football, let's just get into some conversation about the New York Liberty, as they managed to score a win earlier this week against the Los Angeles Sparks, thanks to Big Mama Stephanie Dolson dropping 5 3-pointers in 5 attempts. And of course, Brianna Stewart did their thing, dropping 25 points. Sabrina Ionescu surpassed Diane Taurasi for most three-pointers in a single season. I mean, Brianna Stewart had the record before. Jewel Lloyd broke the record for most points in a single season. So, yeah, even though Jewel Lloyd's not going to, Seattle Storm's not making the playoffs at the very least, if she holds off the Brianna Stewart, which I don't think is going to happen, she'll have the single season score record to be proud of. So that's a major accomplishment. And yeah, the Liberty could be facing either the Washington Mystics or the Minnesota Lynx if the Lynx were to lose to the Indiana Fever. And unfortunately, the Washington Mystics have to win against the New York Liberty in the final game of the regular season if we want the Minnesota Lynx in the first round instead of the Washington Mystics. So, yeah, thoughts on everything else I just said?
Well, first of all, forget the loss. I want to win. So I'm glad to play the Mystics. I want to send them home. I want to send them home real early to hold the game on. So, but I mean, first of all, like you said before, if Stephanie Dolson starts shooting threes and goes 5 for 5, then you could just hand us the championship now because it's the team is just so complete. And I told you that I think that just talent-wise, this is the best Liberty team we've ever seen assembled. You know, with Brianna Stewart, who's an absolute stud. Sabrina Ionescu, who's a young, great shooter, one of the best shooters in the world in basketball, had the greatest three-point shootout round in the history of NBA basketball. And she's such a good point guard, can pass, heady, smart, will defend. We got Laney, who's just an absolute gem to the team.
She signed a contract extension and stay with the Liberty up until 2025, by the way.
Thank God. Thank you, Lord. Great. Good. Keep her around. She's a great player. Perfect cog for the team. Vandersloot has gave us great acquisition minutes to shoot the ball, handle the team, pass off, smart, heady. Johansson, man, is she good? She is really good. She's got a swag with her too, can shoot it, can drive, but really can shoot it. And what's Jones? She started off sluggish, got into her groove. She can hit the perimeter shot, mid range. You know she can post up, rebound, shot block. Her and Bree inside. Don't finish shooting threes. And, she's an intimidator and a block and a rebounder and a face-up girl. Is you gonna come back? The Asian young lady you had playing the big fella.
Come back. Coming off the bench.
Good. Yeah. That's another. This team is so deep and so good. To me, if they play their game every night, they'll beat every team in the East, in whatever they call it, the Eastern Conference, or whatever whoever's in front of them playoff part of them. And their biggest test will be the Las Vegas Aces, who are the champions and a solid team, candidates to be brought back. We know how really great that team is, so that'll be the biggest test. If the Liberty cannot get to that 1 seed and have to be the 2 seed, they'll have to just win a road game. They have done it down there. It is possible. They got to play their game and play consummate if that's what it boils down to. And, we're going to see what happens in the playoffs. But, I think the Liberty, the sky's the limit for them.
It's likely the Aces could be going to the final game of the season. Could win, get the number 1 seed when they face the Phoenix Mercury because their main schedule is just way too easy. It's just too easy for the Aces. They're too dominant. They just blew out the Phoenix Mercury yesterday.
Yeah, so they know they want to lock up that 1 seed. Why not have the championship go through them? That's their mind frame, and they know if they go see that other, if where they want on the other side. That has to play them, and they know they're gonna need all their horses because we're definitely ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Chicago Sky clinched their playoff spot after defeating the Minnesota Lynx yesterday. So there's that. So yeah, the Liberty could either get a rematch of last year's playoff series against Chicago Sky, winning more to number 1, or they could just stay where they are and face the Washington Mystics or the Minnesota Lynx. Anything's possible after Sunday.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna have,
Imagine if Candace Parker would have stayed on Chicago.
forget it.
Yeah, that would have been really good. Look, they got the clear copy of Korea. She's tough. They got a good team. They play scrappy. They beat us.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember a year ago when we kind of would get hyped over the possibility of us upsetting the Chicago Sky before we eventually lose them anyway. But we knew that was going to happen. We knew. Well, that was this episode. Nothing but that sports. So thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker. And yeah, I promise you, hopefully this one's a lot better than the one we recorded yesterday that you're not going to see because, yeah, sound quality. And for Ryan Walker, I'm Rafique Luazon. We'll see you next time. And enjoy week 1 of the NFL season and the final day of the WNBA season. And the WNBA playoffs is going to be rocking like crazy here at the Ball of Brooklyn and Vegas too, among 6 other cities.
I might be out next weekend. I might be out in Queens Week, announcing that Queens Week, me, Slim, and Voice Fox. H2O got his league out there. You know, he does a lot of stuff with ball.
Oh, I know H2O. Trust me. I know H2O. We'll get more to that off the air. See you next time.
Yeah, and
hold on.